Bitch said what? That's not me asking. That's a grown woman with a record deal, a pregnancy announcement, and a #1 rap song this year. Pulling up to the Breakfast Club at sunrise, sipping water like it's a deposition, and reading a single line off her own album like she's submitting evidence. And the wildest part? She smiled while she did it. 2 months of silence. 1 verse. 1 interview. 1 Instagram story that didn't even need a caption. And just like that, the most expensive apology in hip-hop this quarter got mailed back to sender, postage due. Y'all already know what time it is. Tap that subscribe, smash the bell, and ride with me through this one, because I've been sitting on 3 details nobody on the timeline pulled up yet. And the second one is gonna make you rewatch the whole Breakfast Club clip with fresh eyes. Trust the process. For anyone walking in cold, Alyssa Stephens, known to the world as Latto, sat down with Charlemagne, Jess and Loren on the Breakfast Club this week to promote Big Mama, her 3rd studio album, out now on RCA. 17 tracks. Features from Glorilla, Doja Cat, 21 Savage, Sexy Red, Wizkid. Strong rollout. Track 6 is called Gimme Dat. And on that record, she rhymes. BCH said what? Let's clock it / really got a Hermès store in my closet / talking. 'Bout buying Big Mama a bag like my 9 already bought it. She confirmed on camera. The bars are about Belcalis Almanzar. Cardi. Complex confirmed the quote. TMZ confirmed the receipt. That's the surface. Now lift it. Let me just put the raw words in front of you. No coloring. No spin. Just what was actually said. Who said it, and where it landed. Latto, to the Breakfast Club, on Cardi's leaked rant about Ice Spice that swept her into the crossfire. I'm pregnant. Emotions high. Hormonal. And it's someone I deadass looked at as a friend. We was on a texting basis. Okay, that line is doing more work than people realize. We'll come back to it. Latto in the same sit down, on whether she'd ever sit in a room with Cardi again. It just left a bad taste in my mouth. Flat. Almost bored. The vocal equivalent of a shoulder shrug at someone you used to text every day. Wild. Cardi B, on X, hours later, in a thread that ran longer than most artists' Notes app apologies. I was ranting and hot at the moment, but I FCK with Latto heavy. I respect everything about her, including her team. That's so sweet. Then she expanded. Multiple paragraphs. The phrase that's been getting screenshot to death. I wanted to connect with you, but you wanted to address it on your album. 1 sentence. Buried in paragraph 4. We're absolutely getting back to that. Latto on Instagram story, while Cardi's thread was still being quote-tweeted. BCH, I ain't accepting your apology. Go to the booth and make a reply. Asterisk. Half a laugh. Because that right there is not a clapback. That's a job assignment. Alright, sit with me. Because the order matters more than the words. September 2024, Ice Spice drops BB Belt. A bar gets read as a shot at Cardi. Behind closed doors, Cardi gets on the phone with Ice Spice's manager James. According to the audio that eventually leaks, she's furious, 8 months pregnant with a 3rd child, and somewhere in the middle of demanding Ice Spice's location, she swerves and labels Latto with a word you don't volunteer about a woman you call a friend. That audio doesn't surface immediately. It sits. Cut to September 2025. Cardi releases Am I the Drama? Sells 200,000 units week 1. Debuts #1 on the Billboard 200. Biggest sales week for any rap album by a woman that year, same month. She confirms on CBS Mornings she's pregnant again. 4th child. First with Stefon Diggs. Look at that calendar collision. The phone call leaks roughly around the same window the album is breaking records. The internet has a feeding frenzy. Cardi rushes to X with the now famous buy her a bag offer. Latto's response back then? Public. Cold. Basically, keep it. Actually, hold on. Back up. This part is the part. Because Cardi has been telling the timeline like I tried to reach her. I called her manager. I called her sister. I texted her directly. Latto's version on the Breakfast Club isn't a denial. It's something stranger. She says the text came about 2 months later. By then, that ain't even I'm not even thinking about that no more. 2 months. That's the number to remember. Because in March 2026, Latto announces her own pregnancy. Gimme Dat was already mixed. The album was already mastered. The booth had already closed. So when Cardi's note hits, "I wanted to connect, you wanted to address it on your album," there's a quiet implication that Latto chose the verse over the conversation. But the calendar says different. The conversation didn't show up until the verse was already pressed. That's not pettiness. That's chronology. Let me zoom in on two things. Just two. The rest of y'all are talking around them. Talking about buy-in. Big mama a bag like my aunt asterisk ain't already bought it. People are hearing it as a brag. It is. But that's the surface read. The deeper one? It's a refund. Cardi publicly offered her a bag. A material apology. Latto's bar isn't even rejecting the bag. She's pointing out the category error. You can't pay-per-view sorry your way out of a friendship breach when the person you wronged operates in your same price tier. The bag was supposed to be the gesture. Latto's saying the gesture itself was the second insult because it assumed she could be bought. Then she names the producer. Plaque Boy Max. Wish AB would get in a booth. I'm calling up Plaque Boy Max. That's the part casual listeners glossed over. Plaque Boy Max. Maxwell Elliott Dent, 23. The Twitch streamer turned producer who NPR profiled last year as the face of the streamer-to-rap artist pipeline. When a rapper threatens to call up Plaque mid-bar, she's not pulling a random name. She's signaling she has direct line access to the new internet, the streamer ecosystem, the Twitch rap crossover, the place where Cardi's old Radio NX playbook lands flat. It's a generational subtweet inside a bar, and it flew over half the timeline. Cardi's apology thread used the phrase, Big Mama, directly echoing Latto's album title. Reclamation. Cardi was likely trying to show familiarity, soften the room. Read it again, though. Latto's own bar literally goes talking about buy-in Big Mama a bag. She's putting Cardi's own apology language inside the diss before Cardi even typed it. That's preemptive forensics. She heard the apology shape coming, and she neutralized the vocabulary in advance. Almost surgical. Almost. Pay attention to how outlets carve this thing up, because the framing tells you more than the facts do. People ran it clean and chronological. Latto confirms. Cardi responds. Here's the apology. Neutral. Mainstream friendly. Frames Cardi as the one extending an olive branch. Complex leaned harder into Latto's bars, quoted the Hermès line in full, treated the verse as the lead. That's the hip-hop press tell. They're framing it as a moment in the music, not a reconciliation arc. TMZ, and this one's interesting, pulled Latto's own quote that it's not a diss. That framing softens it, lets the more casual audience read it as a misunderstanding between two women and their feelings. 3 different stories. Same week. Same facts. Now, the loudest counter-narrative going around, Latto's overreacting. She got an apology. Twice. Publicly. That should be enough. Steelman it for a second. Cardi did do something most artists at her level genuinely refuse to do, which is take public accountability without lawyering it up. The thread on X is, on its face, well-constructed. Humble in places. Specific in others. Real talk. It's not a bad apology. But here's the dismantling. An apology's quality is not measured by the apologizer. It's measured by what it cost them. Cardi apologized after the audio leaked, not before. She offered a bag after the rant became public, not after the rant happened. And the text Latto says came through? Roughly 2 months late. The math doesn't lie. Every motion was reactive, not initiated. That doesn't make the apology fake. It makes it late. And those are different problems. Now flip the gear. Here's what nobody's saying out loud. The mainstream read is, Cardi apologized, Latto's holding a grudge. 2 grown women. Somebody needs to be the bigger person. Nah. What's actually happening here is a quiet power transfer inside women's rap, and Latto just executed the cleanest one of the decade. Think about the leverage map. A year ago, you wouldn't say Latto and Cardi were equals in the industry. Cardi was the cultural avatar, the Grammy, the diamond plaque, the catchphrase economy, the IG empire. Latto was the proven hitmaker still building toward her crossover ceiling. Different tax brackets. Then Am I the Drama? Moved 200K week 1, a massive number, but the conversation around the album got swallowed by the leaked audio inside of 3 weeks. Cardi's biggest commercial victory got chaperoned by her ugliest off-record moment. Meanwhile, Big Mama drops, Gimme Dat lands, and Latto walks into the Breakfast Club, not as the wrong party, but as the artist holding the narrative. She's the one who chose, when this conversation happened. She's the one who chose the medium. She's the one who turned a phone call insult into a charting verse, name-checked the producer of the new wave, and refused the apology on her own platform. That's not pettiness. That's positioning. And the part the press won't print. Cardi's apology, however genuine, was also strategically necessary. She has a sophomore cycle album rolling, a new pregnancy, a new relationship under scrutiny, and a documented pattern of viral confrontations she'd like the conversation to move past. I wanted to connect. You wanted to address it on your album. Read it again. That's not just regret. That's a soft frame shift trying to make Latto's choice of medium the moral failing, not Cardi's original words. It's elegant PR. It's also the kind of thing only one person in the exchange notices in real time. And Latto noticed. Go to the booth and make a reply isn't disrespect. It's redirection. You want to apologize in paragraphs? Cool. Apologize in bars. Same medium I responded in. Equal footing. The jabs land in clusters. You don't get to dictate the response when you set the disrespect. A late text is an outreach. A late text is documentation. Offering a bag to a woman who can buy her own bag is an apology. It's a tax write-off with feelings attached. 2 months is a window. 2 months is also a confession. Public disrespect requires public repair. Privately texting, my bad, months later isn't repair. That's hoping the news cycle eats the receipt. And the part where she said, I didn't mean to call you that. Come on. You said it loud. You said it on a recorded line. There is no, didn't mean to, that survives the audio. The bigger picture truth nobody's framing. This isn't beef. Beef requires 2 people who still consider each other peers. This is a graduation ceremony, and only one person in the room realizes she's the one walking the stage. Watch the next 90 days. Because this story has 3 lanes, and only one of them is the one everybody's looking at. The lane most likely to land. Cardi's rollout for the next album shifts. Don't be shocked when the public posture pivots from defense to vulnerability. Expect a song that addresses the leak call directly, maybe even by name, framed as growth and regret. It works for her brand. It neutralizes a year of bad headlines, and it gives her a Grammys narrative if the album is positioned right. The opposition camp, the she's not really sorry crowd, gets quieted not by an apology, but by a song. Cardi understands the medium. She always has. The lane that flips the table. Latto doesn't engage again. Period. No follow-up bar. No follow-up interview. She lets Gimme Dat do laps on TikTok through summer. Lets the Hermès line become a meme caption, and her silence becomes the loudest part of the conversation. Once that move locks in, the pressure isn't on her anymore. It's on whoever talks about it next. And in that scenario, every Cardi reference to the situation, however well-meaning, reads as Cardi keeping it alive while Latto already moved on. That's a chess position most artists don't even recognize as a position. The aftershock 5 years out. This becomes the case study every women in rap think piece references when the next public friendship goes south. The Hermès line outlives the apology. People will quote that bar at parties long after the X thread is buried under newer drama. And the cultural residue? It rewrites the unspoken rule about what an industry apology has to look like when the disrespect was caught on tape. Privacy isn't a refuge anymore. The booth is the courtroom. Once the next album drops, either one, expect the conversation to mutate again. But the foundation has already shifted under it. Latto won this round not by being louder, by being later, and by being on the album. Y'all already know. If you made it this far, you saw what I saw. And you know the take you just got isn't living anywhere else on YouTube right now. Hit subscribe, ring the bell, and drop your honest answer below. Was Latto justified in turning that apology away? Or did she let pride drive the bus? Argue with me. Next breakdown's already cooking. Talk soon. Fame Cryptix.